Hello, guys. How is everyone doing? Hope everyone is doing well. And welcome to the FPL Duo. It is the team selection video for Game Week 26. So, welcome everyone. If you are just joining in, as always, make sure you do drop a like on the video. But yeah, we're going to get into it. Team selection for Game Week 26. A lot to discuss. Potential wildcards, maybe for me. We'll get into that in a sec. But how you doing, Jordan? How you been?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. I hope everyone else has had a nice week so far. It feels like it's gone so fast now. We're already at Thursday. Feels like it's only Monday the other day. So yeah, time is moving quick, and so is the game week 2026 is around the corner. It finally ended 25 yesterday, so it was a surprising high scoring game week in 25.
Yeah, we're going to recap Game Week 25, as always. Got Mohammed in the chat. Hey, guys, hope you're all doing great. Yeah, we're doing well. Hope you're well as well. But yeah, as always, we recap. Let's talk about Game Week 25, double Game Week 25. We know Liverpool, Everton, Arsenal, and was it Villa? Was it not Villa? Sorry. Who else doubled? Wolves. But yeah, let's talk about Game Week 25 and how it went. And as you guys know, I did take a -8 this week. But let's start with Ward in goal. So Danny Ward, as you guys know, I have him in goal. He's been frustrating ever since I've owned him since Game Week 17. He did concede. He did lose 1-0 to Arsenal. Surprised he was only 1-0 in that game, but nonetheless, no clean sheet for him. Let's move on to the back four. Where should we begin? Let's start with Kilman. Now, Kilman did have a double game week, but in both games, he conceded a goal. So in the first one, it was 1-1, Fulham Wolves. He played 90 minutes, so got the 2 points. And in the second game, Wolves did actually lose last night to Liverpool in a 2-0 loss. So Kilman also conceded, obviously, 2 goals for the -1. So 3 points for Kilman, a blank in both games. So a bit annoying there. But moving on to Ben White, who I decided to keep in because I know a lot of people sold Ben White, but I was pretty certain that he was going to start both those matches just because the way he's been playing recently. I thought he's really good against Aston Villa. And then when I saw him against Villa, I knew I wanted him in my team. So to keep him in my team. So, 7 points against Leicester. He get a clean sheet point. Obviously, he got 1 bonus as well against Leicester. And last night against Everton, he also got a 6-pointer for the clean sheet. So all in all, he's a lovely 13-pointer from Ben White, which I was very happy about. Moving on to Tyrone Mings. Now, Tyrone Mings was a transfer in for me in earlier game weeks because I knew in game week 25 he'd actually have a fixture. So I bought him in early and he's paid off and got me the 7-pointer. And he also nicked a 1 bonus point in the end. So that was nice as well. Tarkovsky, less success there. He did blank in both games. Got a -1 last night, I think, against Arsenal for conceding 4 goals. So yeah, that wasn't great from him. I know a lot of people did transfer in Tarkovsky and players like Pickford, etc. He hasn't paid off going Everton defense. So I was glad that I didn't go too heavy. Some people went double Everton defense, etc. Moving on to the midfield, where it gets a lot better for my team. Now, I think the standout player for my, for the whole game week really is actually Martinelli. Now, Martinelli is an interesting player because we know he got benched against Aston Villa game, wasn't he? He was benched for Villa, but he came on and scored the goal. As soon as he came on and scored that goal, I decided I wanted to keep him again and take that risk potentially because he was a bit of a rotation risk in that game. But when I looked at it, I thought he's playing quite well in terms of he came on and got a goal. And I would have been surprised if Arteta would have benched him again. So he plays against Leicester and he scores against Leicester, which I was very happy to see. He also got the 3 bonus points. Obviously, 1-0 win. Martinelli essentially got Arsenal the 3 points. And soon after that game, because before game week 25, I said to myself, Martinelli will probably play 1 game. But because of the nature of their win, 1-0 tight win against Leicester, and where Martinelli scored the winner, I knew he'd start again in the second game against Everton. So I was glad that he got the win against Leicester. And then yesterday night as well, he did get another 2 goals and a clean sheet point and the 3 bonus again. So he got 3 bonus in both the games, 3 goals in 2 games. So yeah, what a pick really for me. It's been a great, decision to hold him, because I was looking at selling him potentially, but I ended up keeping him. So I'm glad I did. 26 pointer from him. Very happy days. Moving on to Saka, who also did really well. 15 pointer from him. He also did score last night, and he got the assist last night as well for a 12 pointer. He was subbed after about 80 minutes. He got the 1 bonus point as well, which was quite nice. He did blank though in the first game against Leicester. So, but all in all, most of his points did come last night. And I know a lot of people went captain Saka. I didn't. Obviously, I would have been better off. I would have been 8 points better off if I did captain Saka over Salah. Obviously, those that don't know, I did captain Salah, so I was 8 points worse off, which isn't too bad because Martinelli did make up a significant chunk of that anyway. So Salah, it was a frustrating game week really for Salah owners. I think he did blank against Palace, and then it looked like last night he was also going to blank, but then he does score, I believe, in the 75th minute or so. Comes off his knee, so maybe a bit fortunate, but he was in the position, and when the chance fell to him, you knew he wasn't going to miss. So Salah overall performance wasn't great, but I was glad that he got the goal, because otherwise it could have been a lot worse the game week, because obviously I went against Saka and a lot of people did captain Saka. So yeah, 22 pointer for Salah. Very happy there. Moving on to Mahrez, who was benched against Bournemouth, only came on and played 18 minutes. I was always worried that he could potentially get benched in that one. So I wasn't surprised when the team news came out and he was on the bench. So yeah, unfortunately Mahrez didn't play. He didn't start, but he came on for like a little 1 pointer. And finally, up top, we've got Haaland, who does score again, goal, assist, and the 1 bonus point after their 4-1 win, I think it was, against Bournemouth. So nice. Haaland does return again. So that was good to see from him, back on the score sheet. And then finally, Darwin Núñez, a bit of a frustrating figure. He was actually left out the squad in that first game against Wolves in the double game week. He was declared fit to start against Wolves. I thought he played really well. I thought he was better than Salah in that game. I thought he was also better than Jota in that game. He did score, Darwin, actually, but I think it was offside, wasn't it? So he got a disallowed goal, which was a bit unfortunate. But 2 pointer from him, only played the 1 game, which was annoying because there was rumours that he would get benched, and rumours were true. But luckily for us, he at least played in one of the fixtures. So 2 points from him in a blank, and then on the bench, of course, I've got players that blank. So all in all, very good game week considering I didn't use any chips. 101 points, obviously minus the 8 because I took a -8. So 93 points all out, which I think is very good considering the circumstances of my team. I was very happy that I navigated with the green arrow. So the rank is up by about 150k. So currently sitting at 780k, which is a bit better. Trying to break in that top 500k next, hopefully. I still have a lot of my chips in play. I've got the bench boost. I've got the wild card. I've got free hit as well that I haven't used. So I'm hoping in the next couple of weeks, where I plan to use a lot of my chips, I can gain some ground on a few other managers. So yeah, that is a team, guys. 93 points all out with the hit, and yeah, up to 780k. So let's move on to your team, Jordan. For game week 25, you did free hit. Talk us through how it went and how your game week went, really, in general.
Yeah, it was a very, very high scoring one, despite the blank game week. But we'll start off with Pickford, and yeah, I'm not really surprised that Pickford getting only 2 points. I wasn't really confident that Everton were going to keep a clean sheet in either of their doubles. And yeah, because of Pickford conceding 4 goals against Arsenal, that obviously gave him -2 points from his total 4 he could have had. So he only gets 2 points from the first match that Everton did play. And yeah, that's about it for Pickford. Moving on to Kilman, same situation, more or less. 1-1 to Fulham in the first game, and then obviously lost 2-0 to Liverpool in the second game. So only 3 points for Kilman. Wasn't expected a clean sheet. The highest expected was the Fulham game because they did score late on in that match. But yeah, only 3 points from Kilman and no clean sheet for him. Moving on to Trent with a bit more success. Liverpool did keep 2 clean sheets, one against Crystal Palace. It was a 0-0 draw in the first game, and then a 2-0 win against Wolves. So, yeah, a nice 13-pointer from Trent. I think he got a bonus 1 from that Wolves game. So it was a nice return for Trent and a nice free hit player. And finally, we've got Tarkowski, and obviously we've spoken about him. Not as fortunate as we thought he would be, bringing him in for this double. He did get 0 points, as the -2 were taken off in the Arsenal game where they did lose 4-0. Moving on to the midfield, and there's a lot more to talk about. So first of all, we've got Saka, who is probably the best captain pick I could have in my team, and he gets a 30-pointer. And yeah, he scores in the first game week and he scored in the second game week. So
the first one was a blank against Leicester. He scored last night and the assist last night, wasn't it?
Oh, yes, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, because Leicester was 1-0.
Yeah, so yeah, a goal and assist for Saka and bonus points on top of that. So it was a nice return of 30 points from him, and he was my captain. So I'm happy with the captain pick. As same with Odegaard as well, he was very successful in especially the Everton game. He did score in that match, and he was rewarded with a double haul at the end of the 2 double game week fixtures that Arsenal did have. So he was another great free hit player to go for. I thought it was I think it was quite amazing, if I'm honest, in that game, especially when he slide tackled around Irobi and then intercepted the ball with a little dribble around him. That was quite cool to see that. But yeah, Odegaard is a player. What a player for Arsenal. Next, we've got Salah, who he did blank in the first fixture in that 0-0 draw to Crystal Palace, but he did score last night against Wolves, as we've spoken about. And yeah, he gets an 11-pointer and bonus points on top of that. So at least for those who did captain Salah, he did return something, as it didn't look like he was going to at all from those 2 doubles that he did have. And last, we got Iwobi, who only gets 4 points. So those points are only from the match time played in both those fixtures that Everton did have. And yeah, nothing else from Iwobi in that game. I thought Everton they were struggling, especially against Arsenal in the second game. It wasn't really to be for Everton at all. Moving on to the front 3, we got Nketiah, who was benched for both of the doubles. So he was benched for the Everton game and also for the Leicester one. But he did return in the Everton game by getting an assist. So he did get 5 points. So it wasn't a total loss for those who do have Nketiah, because I was a bit doubtful that he would get any points and just finish off with 2 as well. Or not even that, even 3 points, because he only got 1 in the first game. But yeah, there's a nice 5-pointer from Nketiah. He's currently flagged at the moment with a little knock, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Next, we've got Darwin, who he's come back in full swing as being the frustrating player that we all remember him being when we brought him in. And yeah, he only gets 2 points. His goal was ruled offside. So yeah, back to frustrations with Darwin, but he was playing well in that game. I'll say one of the best players for Liverpool. But unfortunately, he didn't return in either. Well, he didn't play the first game, obviously, because of injury. And obviously, the second one against Wolves, he was just unlucky and unfortunate that his goal didn't count. And finally, we got Haaland, who gets a 10-pointer for the goal and assist and a bonus point. It was a risk, as always, to go against Haaland, as we never know how much he will get from each game. And with it being Bournemouth away, there's always a chance that Haaland would get something out of that game, as Bournemouth have conceded a lot of goals, and that match did end up being 4-1. So that result could have been much worse if Haaland was to get more from that game. But yeah, just quickly on the team bench, we've got Forster, who did get a clean sheet from that Tottenham game. I think that was against Chelsea. And I think they won 2-0. So it was a very surprising result for Spurs to keep a clean sheet, but Chelsea have struggled to get wins and goals. We've got Ruben Neves, the Wolves midfielder. He gets 3 points only from his game. Same with Bueno. He is currently flagged. He had a hamstring injury leading up to that Liverpool game as well, so he'll be out. He's only got 3 points. And Nico Williams got 0 points from Nottingham Forest. But overall, this free hit, I'd say, has paid off. I mean, I have 91 points from it, so I'll say I'm pretty happy with that. And I do have a nice green arrow of 393k, so I've just about broken above that 400k mark. So it's nice green arrow result for the game week, and I'm on the total of 1,564 points. So yeah, it was a great game week to end on from the double.
Okay, nice. That is our game week 25 teams now out the way. We're going to talk about game week 26 now, but before we do start, just want to say, if you are still in the stream, don't forget to like the stream, guys. It really helps support our channel and makes us, encourages us to make more content for you. So like the stream, and also if you aren't, make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube channel as well. We're very close to 800 subscribers. Let's talk about game week 26, because that's the big one that we all want to discuss. Because for those that don't know, I think I'm going to wildcard this weekend. I'm pretty certain 99.9%. So I've not spent too much time on it. So do bear with me, guys. I'm probably going to show you 2 or 3 different slides. So obviously last night we saw Fulham did end up winning, didn't they, against Leeds in the FA Cup game?
Yeah.
So that meant Liverpool will now basically blank in 28. So as you guys know, I have double Liverpool. Let's go back to my team. So here's my team, my current team. So as you guys know, I've not got any Brentford players. I've not got any Brighton players. I've got Mahrez, who's a bit of a risk. I've got double Liverpool like Salah and Darwin, who I may not want. I've got Tarkowski, who I don't really want either. So I am now in a position where I think I'm going to play that wildcard button, and this is what I've come up with, guys. So for game week 26, I've thought about something like this. So I'll just quickly go through the players, I think, and why I've selected them. So I've got Kepa in goal. He's got Leeds at home. I'm just going to bring up the fixtures on my other page as well, so I could just see it better. So yeah, Kepa, I have chosen him on my wild card just because I should have bought him in game week 17, didn't have the money, and I think he's got some decent fixtures long term. He does also have a double in game week 29 against Aston Villa and Liverpool, so I will probably play him for that game. So that's why I've bought him in. Moving on to Areola. The reason why I've bought him in is because I think he's got decent fixtures as well. And he also doubles in 29 in a decent game week. So Southampton and Newcastle double for Areola, and hopefully he can get something in that game. But those are the 2 goalies I've gone with. Moving on to the back line. Actually, I should mention my all my benches all at the same time. So I've got Trippier, Luke Shaw, Estupinan, Henry, and Pinnock. I will probably play one of the Brentford boys if I was to wildcard. So Trippier, the reason why I've kept him, you can't sell Trippier, I don't think. He's got Man City. I know it's a tough game, but he's one of those players that keeps returning. So I'm not yet ready to get rid of him on a wildcard. I've gone with Luke Shaw because of how he's played so far. So I think he's a good pick still. I know Liverpool, he could concede against Liverpool. But Man United are playing well. Man United are also keeping a few clean sheets as well. And we know Luke Shaw's been doing well. Man United do blank in game week 28, which is a bit of a worry. But then again, they double in game week 29 against Newcastle and Brentford. Now, that's a decent double. So I would like some Man United assets for their double in 29, but you've got to navigate that 28 somehow. Estupinan, I think, is their standout pick for Brighton defense, because I've taking a look at Brighton's fixtures, and this is one of the main reasons why I decided to play the wild card, because as you can see, I'm bringing in triple Brighton and also a couple Brentford, or 3 Brentford players, which I think is a big factor in me deciding to play it. So yeah, Estupinan has really nice fixtures. West Ham in 26, Leeds in 27, sorry, 27's a double, isn't it? With Leeds and Palace. Blanks in 28 though, but then after that he also got a double in 29. So I think you definitely probably want to triple up on Brighton going forward because they double in 27 and then again in 29, and they're nice fixtures as well. So Leeds and Palace, as I said, in 27, and then Brentford and Bournemouth in 29. So I think Estupiñán is a great pick. I think he's going to be quite popular if you are wildcarding, or even if you're not. I can see him being transferred in by many managers in the coming weeks. Moving on to the defense, Henry and Pinnock, who I've decided to bring in due to Brentford also having good fixtures and doubles coming up. So if you take a look at Brentford's fixtures, Gameweek 26, they got Fulham. 27 is a double against Everton and Southampton, 2 away games, but still nice fixtures. Then again, 28, they play Leicester, which isn't the worst game. And then again, they double in 29 against Brighton and Manchester United. All their doubles are away, which might be a bit of a concern, but I still want Brentford assets because I think they're going to be, good picks, for the doubles and to take advantage. So yeah, that's why I've decided to bring in Henry and Pinnock. It could be Ben Mee. I think in this scenario, the budget couldn't fit, but I'd probably prefer Ben Mee over a Henry if you can. Moving on to the midfield, and I've got Odegaard, who's got Bournemouth this weekend, but I'm just going to go over the rest of the players. I've got Fernandes in the wild card, Rashford, Mitoma, and also McAllister. Now, Odegaard isn't going to be in this team. I just made it from scratch, literally 10 minutes. This draft took me to make, so nothing is final, guys. I will have Saka in this team 100%. I don't plan to go without Saka. I've had Saka since game week 17, so I think he's the best Arsenal pick. But Odegaard's just in there just for budget purposes for now. And yeah, Arsenal, you definitely want Arsenal players. I've only got one on this draft, so it's going to be Odegaard or Saka. Due to the budget, I can't go to more than that. So yeah, Odegaard or Saka, I think is still essential because Arsenal have great fixtures. So I wouldn't be wanting to get rid of any of their players, really. Arsenal have some very nice games. No doubles, but nonetheless, they are the top of the league and playing really well. So you don't want to be getting rid of them. Moving on to Manchester United, and as you guys can see, I've included Rashford. I'm not going to say too much on Rashford. I don't think you should be selling him. His recent form suggests that you should keep him, and he's a good pick, especially at his price. Now, Bruno Fernandes is an interesting one because he may not be in my final wildcard draft, just because I'd rather Saka over Fernandes, I think, but not sure. But Fernandes also has some nice games, and as you guys know, Fernandes does have a double. Is it in game week 29? I think it is. So Bruno Fernandes plays Liverpool, which could be a tough game, away as well. And he's got Southampton in 27 at home, which is a nice fixture. He blanks in 28, and then he doubles in 29. So that double game week 29 does look good for Bruno and Man United against Newcastle and Brentford. So I could go without Bruno and then look to transfer him in closer to that double because he will blank in 28. So maybe that's the plan I go with. Maybe don't include him and then look to bring him in later down the line when the double game week happens. But yeah, Bruno is a good pick, as I said, with Rashford. Moving on to Mitoma, McAllister as well on the bench. Now, McAllister and Mitoma, I think, are big, players that people were looking at just because, again, I've mentioned Brighton's fixtures, similar to Estupiñán, great fixtures coming up, double game weeks coming up in 27, I think, and 29. So, sorry, 27 and 29, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So you'd want, Mitoma is going to be very popular in most teams. McAllister is going to be popular, even someone like Solly March. But wildcarding allows me to bring in all of them right now because most managers will have to take hits, etc., to maybe add in a McAllister or a Estupiñán. So that's the thinking behind that. I think McAllister and Mitoma are going to be popular moves. Moving up top, the front three, which is probably going to be quite template. I don't know. If you are wildcarding that right now, I think most of us would have this front three. Let's start with Haaland. Now, Haaland, there's maybe a debate whether you keep Haaland long term, and I will come on to that now. So if you look at Haaland's fixtures in game 26, he plays Newcastle at home. So it's a decent fixture. Obviously, Newcastle are playing well. Dropped off recently, but with Haaland, he can score in any game. 27, yes, Palace, so you'd want to keep him for that game. But then this is where it gets interesting with Haaland. Now, Haaland does blank in game week 28, and then he plays Liverpool in game week 29. So my plan was, this is just a plan right now, but in 28, because Haaland doesn't have a game, you could sell him to someone like Ollie Watkins and then play Ollie Watkins when Haaland blanks. And then in game week 29, I'm going to quickly see Watkins' fixtures again because he has a double. So Watkins plays Chelsea and Leicester in a double game week in game week 29 when Haaland has Liverpool. So it's up to you whether you think essentially you're getting 3 games from Watkins and Haaland's getting 1 game against Liverpool. So I would back, Watkins over 3 games compared to Haaland over 1 game against Liverpool. So I could actually be looking to sell Haaland and then bring him back in later. And this is the key, guys. Make sure you do have enough money to bring Haaland back in if you do decide to take him out in that 28. Because after game week, I think in game week 30, Haaland's fixtures turn really nice again. So you wouldn't want him. You wouldn't want to get rid of Haaland long term because 30, he's got Southampton. 31, he's got Leicester. 32, he's got Brighton. So if you get rid of Haaland, make sure you have enough money in the bank and your value, is not tied up in him too much that you can sell him and afford to look to bring him back into your team. So Haaland could be a potential sell and get ahead of game week 28. Moving on to Tony, there is a worry regarding Tony, whether, we know he's admitted to charges against the betting allegations, whatever was against him, but we don't know whether that's going to rule him out of games. So if I was wildcarding, I would probably include Tony in my team, unless we hear any major news. And if we do, I'll probably just take a hit to remove him or use a free transfer. So looking at Tony, fixtures are nice. I do believe he's a much better pick than Mbeumo. If they're both obviously fit and playing, I definitely prefer Tony. Fulham, Everton, Southampton, we said it. The double is nice. Both the doubles are nice. So Tony is one of those players, I think, those allegations aside, he's a great pick. And I want to take advantage of these doubles. And hopefully he is okay to play both those games. If not, and we hear he's been suspended, etc., then maybe we can switch to someone like an Mbeumo or whoever. But if Tony's fit, he's definitely a good option. And he will be on my wild card as of now. I plan to get him in. Moving on to Harry Kane, who I actually haven't had in my team all season. That may come as a surprise. I believe I haven't had Harry Kane at all. I've not owned him. And he's got Wolves in game week 26. Now, the reason why I think Harry Kane is a good pick, taking a look at his fixtures, we know Harry Kane, the amount of goals he scored this season already. I think he's on 16 goals or something like that. But in 27, he has Wolves. Sorry, 26, he has Wolves. 27, he has Nottingham Forest. And then in game week 28, when Haaland blanks, and there are other players blanking as well, he actually has Southampton, which is a nice fixture. So I'd want him because, we're going to have players blanking. So you'd want Southampton away for Harry Kane. A very good fixture. And then in 29, he's got Everton as well, a nice fixture. And I did say I would be looking to get Harry Kane into my team around this time. So wildcarding makes sense to have Harry Kane. I actually think Harry Kane is one of the first names on my wildcard ahead of someone like Haaland, because for the next 4 games, especially in the blank game weeks, I'd want Kane in my team. So yeah, I'm very happy to be able to include Kane in a wildcard. And that is the team, guys, pretty much. My budget isn't too high, so I think most of you, my team value isn't too high, so I think most of you will be able to afford a team like this. I'd definitely prefer Saka over Odegaard, for sure. But this is not the final team. This is just, I made this with literally 5 minutes, so I didn't give this much thought. But the players definitely 100% that I would include. Kane 100% would be on my draft or wildcard draft. Tony locked. Mitoma, McAllister, I think they're both locked. Triple Brentford is definitely happening as well. Ben Mee, Pinnock, and obviously Tony. Fernandez is 50-50. Rashford locked. So there is ways you can go around the way, what you guys think, but you'll have to tune in to Saturday morning, is it, for the deadline, while I discuss my wildcard and give it more thought and lock in my plays. But I'm pretty 100% sure I'm wildcarding, guys. So yeah, those are the plans. So I thought I'd break it down a bit more. and go into why I've decided to pick these players. Let me know in your comments, guys. Are you wildcarding in Game Week 26, or are you waiting to save it for a later game week? Let me know your thoughts. So yeah, enough of my wildcard. I thought I'd go into in depth because it is a big talking point, because obviously a lot of I've seen a few people wanting to wildcard at Game Week 26. But yeah, Jordan, let's move on to your team for 26. Obviously, a lot simpler. I think you're just using the one transfer. So
Yep.
talk us through your team and mainly your transfer plans.
Okay, so let's start off with Edison. So we got Edison has Newcastle at home. I'm not actually convinced that that Man City can keep a clean sheet, but I'm gonna have to play Edison anyway because Messi has Chelsea away, and I don't think that's a clean sheet either. But I guess the better chances with Man City just because that Newcastle home fixture. Well, it being at Etihad, maybe that gives a bit of fortune that maybe Edison can keep one. We'll have to wait and see. But
I'd be tempted to play Mesli against Chelsea because Chelsea struggle to score goals.
yeah, that's what I was thinking about Leeds as well.
Yeah.
Haven't really kept many clean sheets, and that's an away fixture. I don't know. It might change. It might change near the time, but I'm not really happy with either goalkeeper this week. Moving on to the defence, obviously we've got Trippier who's got Man City away. Definitely want to play Trippier from the Man City game because in the first meeting of them against each other, Trippier did score against Man City, surprisingly, with a free kick. So there's a lot of potential to have Trippier in the team despite the fixture being Man City, because we know Man City have conceded pretty much most game weeks now, and with Trippier scoring a free kick, he's dangerous in all positions as a defender. He's really attacking, so you don't really want to lose that player with that much attacking potential as a defender, as well as there aren't many options for defenders that have that same desire as Trippier does for Newcastle, even though they have sort of dropped off of form a bit, but they are still playing decent football. Next, we've got Luke Shaw, who is currently flagged for a little knock. He should be fine, though. I don't think it's anything serious. But he does have Liverpool away. And obviously, Man United don't have the greatest record at Anfield Stadium. So this could go one way or another. I mean, Liverpool haven't been the same as they were 3 seasons ago. And also Man United hasn't been the same because their form was pretty bad as well. But now that they've regained form, it gives a bit of hope that at Anfield they can deliver something. I don't know if it's going to be a clean sheet, though. But I will play Luke Shaw for now. Hopefully, he should be fine for that Liverpool away fixture. But there's never know. There could be an attacking return from Luke Shaw. He has given a few assists here and there for the Man United players up front. So, yeah, I don't mind playing Luke Shaw and see what happens with that Liverpool away fixture. Finally, we've got Ben Mee as the third defender who's got Fulham at home. I think this is a good fixture, especially with Mitro having some less game time as well from sustaining an injury. And Fulham playing as well midweek as well. There will be a bit of fatigue in the team, whereas Brentford haven't really, they haven't played an FA Cup fixture or any competition midweek, so they might be a bit more refreshed for this fixture. And it's a home one too, so maybe Ben Mee can get another goal. I mean, he has the potential from corners for Brentford to score, as we've seen before. He did it against Southampton, and you never know, he could do it against Fulham at home. But there's always the potential for a clean sheet too from Brentford. Moving on to the very congested midfield. So first of all, we've got Almiron, who has Man City away. He is in my transfer plans, but I'll keep this short for him. He has dropped off of form. He isn't scoring as many goals as he was before, obviously, before the break that Newcastle did have. So, yeah, with Wilson returning as well into this team, I feel like Amon has dropped back a bit and obviously taken more of a more central role on the football pitch, and he's not really getting many shots onto goal either. So, yeah, I mean, Almiron is probably potentially a player that a lot of people have got rid of him already, and especially with Man City away, it is going to be pretty easy in terms of my choice what I will do with Almiron. Next, we have Saka, who has Bournemouth at home. And yes, he has the captaincy over him. I think he's going to be highly captained for this fixture, especially with Arsenal coming for a 4-0 win against Everton. With Bournemouth at home next, that could be easily, if Arsenal wanted to, put 6 goals behind Bournemouth, as they have conceded so many goals in this in the Premier League so far. They have the worst record at the moment, being rock bottom of the Premier League table and struggling to get out of that relegation area. They're really having a bad time. And with Arsenal being the top of the table and wanting to keep in the title race, you can possibly see Saka scoring maybe 2 goals in that game easily. I'll be very surprised if Saka even blanks in that fixture, even though Salah did do it against the 8-0 or 9-0 win that Liverpool did have. But yeah, he is my captain pick, Saka at Bournemouth at home. I think that's a really good fixture for him. Moving on to the Man United duos, we've got Liverpool away for Fernandes and Rashford. Again, this is probably similar to when I talked about Shaw. There's not knowing what this fixture will bring, because we don't have the greatest record at Anfield, but this is a new reformed Man United that we've not seen for a while. Whereas as well, Liverpool, we don't know where their heads are at currently with how they're going to play at Anfield. But we'll have to wait and see, because that could be a very, very lively and exciting fixture, obviously because of the two clubs and their history. Moving on to the final midfielder, that is Mitoma, who has West Ham at home. He has had a bit of a dry spell, Mitoma. He's had quite a few blanks, and I think that's put people off of bringing him in recently. But because he has a double coming up soon, that may persuade people of obviously bringing Mitoma back into the team. But with this game week, he has West Ham at home, which seems like a pretty good fixture. I think that's a nice fixture for Mitoma to regain some form and potentially scoring or get an assist, as he is a great player. When you do watch him play, he's always involved and always looks dangerous on the attack for Brighton. And I feel like he'll do really well in that West Ham at home fixture. Moving on to the front two, we've got Haaland, who has Newcastle at home. Now, this could be a very difficult fixture for Haaland to score in, as we know, Newcastle's defence has been pretty good this season, and their eyes will be watching Haaland at all times. They won't be giving him much space for Man City players to pass to Haaland, as that's what we mostly see during Man City games. Basically, the ball is feeded to Haaland, and that always leads to goals. So I think Newcastle will be heavily targeting Haaland in that game, where he won't be able to really get involved, and that potentially may stop Man City also from.
You said that against Bournemouth last game.
Yeah, I said that against Bournemouth last game. I mean, with Bournemouth, it was a fixture where it did do like a massive landslide in terms of how it went. But this is a different team, obviously Newcastle at home.
No, I agree.
Yeah, I think this time round it should be more challenging for Haaland to score in. Finally, we got Tony, who has Fulham at home. Now, there's not knowing what's going to happen with Tony, obviously, with the allegations that has been brought up. It's also we're not sure if this affects the manager's choice if he is to play in that game against Fulham at home. Maybe the manager has seen this and thought, well, this is not good for obviously Tony, and maybe as disciplinary he may be benched, but fingers crossed he isn't, and he should be fine to play that Fulham at home game. Obviously, if we hear any news, then that will change. But for now, he is in the starting 11, and we'll just have to see what happens with Tony. But it should be a good fixture for him if he is to play that. But yeah, that is basically the starting 11 that I've gone with in Gameweek 26. I'll just briefly talk about the team bench. So obviously we've spoken about Mezia, who's got Chelsea away. And yeah, that could be a good fixture for Leeds. Surprisingly, Chelsea haven't really got going with the new players that they've had in their team, especially with the amount of money they've invested in these players. They haven't really got off the mark with them. Next, we've got the forward Nketiah, who is currently flagged, the same as Shaw. I don't think it's anything serious for Nketiah, but he is on the bench though because I'm not really confident that he will start in that Bournemouth home game, as he has been benched twice now, and with Jesus almost ready to come back and return to Arsenal as well, that may even reduce Nketiah's minutes by more as well. And it's a bit annoying because he does have Bournemouth at home, and part of me wants to hope that now he doesn't start and probably won't play many minutes in that game. But yeah, I mean, he is first team bench in case someone else doesn't start in the starting 11. Maybe there's something from Nketiah in that game. Next, we've got Dunk, who's got West Ham at home. He's just there for colour. If maybe Luke Shaw doesn't play either. He does have West Ham at home, so maybe Brighton can keep a clean sheet in that fixture. And last, we got Kilman, who's got Tottenham at home. I don't expect a clean sheet, if I'm honest, from Wolves. I think Harry Kane can easily score in that fixture because he has been on a quiet streak. But yeah, transfer plans. So I have one free transfer, 4.7 million in the bank. So I have quite a bit of money to use. So I'll just quickly move on to the next slide because this is a pretty easy transfer. I thought about this as soon as the deadline for the last game was pretty much done. And yeah, Almiron is coming out of my team. It's pretty obvious. I don't think I really need him for that Man City away game and for the foreseeable future unless I see him change form. And I'm bringing in Odegaard. I've been wanting to bring in Odegaard for ages now. And given the position I'm in, I think this is the right time to bring him in to my team. With the Bournemouth at home fixture, I think he's going to do really well in that one, especially with Arsenal as well. Firing on all cylinders in the attack. Any Arsenal player up front could potentially be a goal scorer, and Odegaard being one of them. It wouldn't surprise me if he gets another double haul in that one. So yeah, Odegaard is my one free transfer that I'll be making. I won't be making any more. So that just leaves me with 0 free transfers. And still a bit more money in the bank with 3.2 million. So yeah, it's a good transfer, I think, for this game week 26. And yeah, that is basically my plans going forward into game week 26.
Okay, nice. Yeah, obviously you're doing your transfer. I got a wild card to plan as well. So make sure you do join us, guys, Saturday morning, where I am going to play the wild card. I'll probably activate it tonight and mess around with and see the options and see what I can include in my team. So yeah, let's get some comments in anyway, and then we'll probably wrap the stream up after that. Chief says, hey guys, looking fresh, us. Thanks for the comment, Chief. Dom, 97 points with 12 hit, or the minus 12 hit to equal the safety score of 85. Darwin disappointed me. Yeah, Darwin was a bit of a disappointment. Of course, not starting playing that one game only was a bit annoying. But you still got a green, so not the worst thing in the world. Michael says, thoughts on team: Raya, James, Trippier, Salah, Saka, Rashford, Mitoma, Kane, Haaland, Tony. Your team looks pretty good. You've got double Brentford with Raya and Tony. You've got Brighton as well, Mitoma. I see. So Salah could be a potential sell in the coming, maybe not this week. You could actually, we've got Man United, but you could look to take out Salah soon. Mitoma's a good pick. Yeah, it doesn't look that bad. Why did I choose Robertson over Van Dijk? Yeah, of course, obviously Van Dijk getting the goal last night. What do you make of this, Jordan? Nketiah and Darwin out for Watkins and Tony for a -4.
I was so close to bringing Watkins in for Darwin, but I decided to go for Darwin instead. So I'm really regretting that choice. But Nketiah and Darwin out, I think are good moves because I think Nketiah has less minutes now because obviously he's been benched twice and doesn't look like he's going to be a starter, especially when Jesus comes back. Darwin as well, he's another frustrating asset, and with Liverpool blanking, coming up. I think he can potentially come out of the team. Watkins and Tony though, for -4, it's definitely worth it because Tony has a double coming up, and Watkins is on good form as well. And along the line, he will have a double as well. So yeah, I think the -4 will work out for the animations. I would probably do the same moves if I was in your position.
Okay. Yep. 91 points says Dixie, and he captain Nunes as well.
Ooh.
NH 999. Are you planning to free hit in Game Week 28? No, I will not. I don't think I will be free hit in 28. I think most likely I'll be looking to free hit in 29 in the big double. I think Game Week 29 is going to be the biggest double game week of the season, guys. So do bear that in mind. Or I could free hit in Game Week 32 as well. So it's either 29 or 32 for now. I'm not decided. I will see how it goes. But yeah, it won't be in 28, I don't think. Any news regarding Tony? Not really. And not as much as not as far as we're aware. We just got to see how he does. If he starts against Fulham. Botman over Shaw, Raya over Areola, Saka over Fernandez. Yeah, in regards to me, yeah, my wildcard team is not final, guys. I could definitely go Saka. I will probably go Saka in my team 100%. I think he's going to be in there. Raya, Kepa, Trippier, Botman, Dunk, Pinnock, Gabriel, Odegaard, Saka, March, Mitoma, Rashford, Haaland, Kane, Tony. Looks like a good wildcard team, to be fair. Then in 28, go March and Haaland to Maddison and Watkins. Yeah, I did mention potentially getting rid of Haaland and then bringing him back in, but you got to have the money to do that. Odegaard to Fernandez. Yeah, you seem like you got a decent plan there, Alex. Good work. Elliot, I've still got all my chips. I'm not sure what to do with them. Chip strategy suggestion. Well, you'll have to decide if you think you need to wildcard this week. Because I think this week could be decent if, let's say, for example, you're in my boat. I'll just show you my team again. So in my team, this is not my team, is it? That's my wildcard team. My team is here. So as you guys can see from my team, I don't have any Brentford players at all. I don't have any Brighton players either. So right there, that's a reason why I'd want a wildcard. If I've got no Brentford, I've got no Brighton, I've got someone like Mahrez who's a bit of a problem. Darwin could be a bit of an issue. I've got Tarkovsky who's potentially an issue as well. So you have to kind of consider, it's hard to say when to use your chips. It's team dependent. Like, for example, Jordan has a couple Brentford. He has a couple Brighton players. So, and I don't. So that's why I want to bring some of the players in. So it will depend on your team, guys. Not every chip strategy, obviously, is hard to, it's hard to kind of say without knowing your team, but it is team dependent. If you feel like you can navigate Brighton and Brentford without needing a chip, then maybe you don't need one. Surely you keep Almiron as he has a fixture in 28 when many blank, says Alex. I think that's a question to you, Jordan, regarding Newcastle, who do actually have a fixture against Nottingham Forest in 28. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't expect many points from Almiron up until then. So that's why I've really taken him out, because I'd rather bring a player in that I think is going to score more points by that mark in fixture 28. And
who's he got next? City, Wolves. City away could be tough, obviously, and then Wolves at home. Fixtures, and then he's got Man United in 29. He's got double in 29. Sorry, Man United and West Ham double game week 29. So
yeah. I mean,
his form has dropped off, hasn't it?
It has dropped off. He hasn't scored as many goals as he was, and he's got less involved in goals as well. I think with Wilson returning as well back in the team, it sort of drops Amra back a bit more. He's not really the attacking threat that with Wilson when Wilson was out of the team, where Amram we could see more up there, up front. But yeah, I'm not too keen on Amram unless he changes form. Then yeah, I probably might bring him back in.
Yeah, I wouldn't include him in my wild card. Obviously, I'm not going to include Almiron in my wild card. Salah too. I mean, you could keep Salah for this week against Man United. He has a very good record against Man United, but we'll have to see if he does it again this game. But Salah to someone like a Bruno in game week 29 or even 28. Because you got to bear in mind, guys, Salah has a blank game week in 28. He doesn't have a fixture. And then his double game week is quite tough. So Liverpool's double game week in 29 is Man City away and Chelsea away. Now, Chelsea away may not be as hard as in previous years, but City and Chelsea away for Liverpool in their game week 29, which isn't the greatest. And then after that, Salah's got Arsenal in game week 30. So Liverpool have a few tough games. It's Man United, Bournemouth, blank, Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal. It's not the easiest. So you may want to get rid of Salah for someone like a Bruno who has a more favourable double game week 29. So that's a suggestion. Salah to Bruno could be good. Maybe not this week. You could just keep Salah and then do it next week or something like that. Elliot says, I've got 2 free transfers. If I've got 2 free transfers and activate wildcard, do I get them back the following game week? So no, you do not get them back. Once you wildcard, you will only have 1 free transfer the next week, as far as I'm aware. So yeah, you will not have 2 after playing the wildcard. But yeah, that's it. If anyone's got any other questions, do drop them in below. I think we are probably going to wrap it up here. Just hitting an hour mark. If you guys have enjoyed the stream, as always, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new. That's it from us, really. I think we've covered pretty much everything. We're going to have a lot more wildcard chat on the deadline stream as well. So make sure you guys do tune in. I'm just going to check now when that is. So it is an 11 a.m. deadline on Saturday. So we'll be going live at... I might go live at early, It's depending on you, Jordan. I may go live at 9:30 to 11. So maybe do an hour and a half on a Saturday if possible. I think it could be a good deadline stream. Obviously, I'm wildcarding as well. So we may go earlier than usual, guys. We may do an hour and a half on the Saturday. So not 100%, but maybe an hour and a half. But yeah, other than that, that's it from us. This has been the team selection video for Game Week 26. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you share the video as well. But that is it from us, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Anything else you want to add, Jordan, before we wrap it up?
Thank you guys for watching. It's always appreciated. Every time you watch our streams, it helps. And yeah, have enjoyed the rest of your week. And obviously, we'll see you Saturday morning for what should be a very interesting deadline stream.
Yeah, definitely. See you guys Saturday morning. Hope you're well. Anyway, stay safe and take care, guys. Peace out.